also going to recap this Thursday night game, which was a good one between the Vikings and the Rams. Rams look like they're back. Puka's back. All of a sudden, Puka's out there dominating again. Kupp catches a touchdown, catches a big pass late as well to seal the game. So we'll get into that. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Please like, subscribe, and share. Hit the notification button. You can follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy, as you can see that below. And make sure you guys just check out all our shows all week. Monday recap, Tuesday waiver wire, Wednesday buy, sell, hold, Thursday start 'em, sit 'em. I did an NBA pick show earlier, which is looking pretty good so far. We had the Derek Lively props, those hit. We had the Celtics that hit. Looks like the Kings game is going over as well. Just need the Nuggets to get their head out of their ass. The Oklahoma City Thunder really look like they got the the Nuggets number here. So, but this is a football show. NFL picks, week 8. We got a bunch of picks for you guys again tonight. If you guys got any questions, comments, you want to talk about fantasy football, you want to talk about some NBA stuff, maybe, maybe little Yankees, Dodgers World Series, you could throw that in as well. You want to talk about some NFL picks, whatnot, we're here. We'll talk about it all tonight as we go through all these picks tonight. But I wanted to go over my record for the year. So far, it has not been good, guys. 3-8 last week, 26-35-1. Last year, I was 87-74-2, picking all the way through the Super Bowl. So I was 54.5% last year, which was cashing money. Anything over 52.5 is a cash. But yeah, this year it's been a little bit of a slow start. Week 2. We started our picks. Week 1, again, I'm drafting fantasy teams, so I don't go on the show. I'm drafting all the way till Saturday night, getting my last drafts in. Week 2, we went 3-5-1. Then week 3, we went 5-3, 8-1 now. After week 4, we were 2-6. So then we were 10-14-1. Week 5, we go 5-8, so 15-22-1. Week 6 was a good week, 8-4. So we're 23-27-1. We're getting closer to getting over 500. We're 46%. And then last week, 3-8. So 26-35-1, 42.6%. We got to have a big week. We have 11 more plays tonight. The Sunday night game and the Monday night game will be involved here. So we're going to recap. We're going to come back. We're going to recap this Thursday night game. Then we'll get into all these picks. Again, you guys can comment, talk about anything you want here tonight. We'll go over it. And, just looking forward to getting some W's this week. So let's get into it. Fantasy Savvy on Twitter, Face Off Sports Network. Like, subscribe, share. Let's go. Welcome to the Fantasy Savvy Weekly Show with your host, Steve D'Angelo, presented by the Face Off Sports Network, discussing high-stakes fantasy football, waiver, fab, free agent pickups, NFL picks, and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, we're back. Fantasy Savvy on X, Face Off Sports Network. Like, subscribe, share. You guys want to throw a super chat in there? You got any? You want to throw some extra support? We appreciate that as well. We got Al here tonight, veteran of the show, loyal listener. What's up, Al? Says up, Steve. So let's talk about the game we saw tonight between the Rams and the Vikings. The Rams are now, after this win tonight, 30-20. 3-4 now, a big win for them. So they're right in the cut of the division again. The Vikings now have dropped 2 straight. They were undefeated. They are now 5-2, losing to the Lions 31-29. And now they lose to the Rams 30-20. So that vaunted Vikings defense starting to show some holes now. Flores, starting to see it on tape. People exposing them a little bit. They didn't really look so great. Weren't generating on a ton of pressure. I mean, Stafford was getting the ball out quick, obviously, but he was fairly well protected. Did throw the one pick. But, Stafford with his toys back tonight, 279 yards, 4 touchdowns. Again, the one pick. Puka Nakua, we thought maybe it was going to be a couple more weeks, but there was word that he was practicing. He could possibly play this week. He's activated for the game. 7 catches, 106 yards on 9 targets. He looks healthy. He was just, playing his usual role, feisty, ferocious, also making some big blocks. Just a hell of a football player. They did an interview with him after the show with the Thursday Night Crew. This kid has a ton of energy. Kind of just, very refreshing. So definitely room for him. Cooper Kupp, 5 for 51. He catches the touchdown. He was kind of wide open. Stafford made a great play, avoiding the pressure, ducking under, getting out of pressure, throwing the touchdown, makes a big catch at the end to kind of seal the game. He had 8 targets. And then the guy who comes alive tonight is Demarcus Robinson, 2 catches, 35 yards, but he gets 2 touchdowns. And if you remember last year, Demarcus Robinson kind of was that third guy when Cooper and Nakua were on the field. And without those two on the field, it was Tutu Atwell who was showing out, which we also saw Tutu early in the year last year. It was Tutu Atwell. And then DeMarcus came along and kind of took his shine. So now maybe with these two back on the field, maybe it's DeMarcus Robinson that is worth a pickup again, that is worth possibly using in your fantasy lineups again. We'll see how it plays out in the next couple of weeks. But, 3 targets, just 3 targets, but he gets the 2 touchdowns. But Tutu Atwell, 2 targets. Forget about Colby Parkinson. I mean, this guy, 2 catches, 17 yards. Now with Puka and Kupp back, he's kind of phased out. He was kind of a sexy pick early on. I still wouldn't rule out Davis Allen at some point, kind of usurping him at some point. Maybe Tyler Higbee comes back at some point too. But, these guys are not really talented, whether it's Higbee or Parkinson. I do kind of like Davis Allen's talent a little bit. They're kind of just system tight ends. So, I mean, at this point, I would just let Parkinson go if you're still utilizing him or you're still holding on to him in your lineup. Then Kyron Williams, 23 more carries tonight, 97 yards, breaks off a 17-yard run, 5 catches for 19 yards on 7 targets, catches the touchdown. So he continues to dominate the touches. Blake Corum, just 4 carries for 9 yards, 1 catch for 9 yards. It's the Kyron Williams show all the way. And they did an interview with him after the game. He's freaking jacked up, 5'9", I think like 205, but his arms are huge. He's stocky. Remember watching him at Notre Dame, and he really looked good in college. And then he kind of reminded me of Ray Rice a little bit. Short, stocky guy, can break tackles, just kind of runs up the gut. Not the most overly talented player, but just gets the job done. There's a big 4th and 1. He gets the first down as well. So McVay really, really trusts him. He's staying healthy. He's delivering with all this usage. So, at this point, Blake Corum is in the rearview mirror. If you're a Kyron Williams owner, I still think you hold Corum. Even if you're not a Kyron Williams owner, I still think you hold Corum, because if something happens to Kyron, Corum's going to get all this usage. We're not seeing Ronnie Rivers anymore. So still a good stash. Just hold on to Corum for now. Unless, you're in a not such deep league and there's other guys out there and you need a win, obviously, then you need to move off Corum and make it. But deeper leagues where, 7 to 10 bench spots, you got 2 IR spots maybe you could throw on there and stash more guys. Corum makes a lot of sense to continue to hold. Sam Darnold on the other side, 18 of 25, 240, 2 touchdowns. No picks, good game stat wise. He's still, I don't know, he's kind of regressing a little bit now that, he's kind of, maybe he turns to like the old Darnold, but I don't think we're going to see that in this O'Connell system with Jefferson and Addison. And he's going to get TJ Hawkinson back, which is going to help a lot. He's got Aaron Jones, but still a good game. 128 rating, had a better rating than Stafford. Rating obviously isn't everything, but still an efficient game. 2 touchdowns, doesn't turn the ball over. He has the safety at the end, but we all saw it was a face mask there. It should have been called. That would have been a first down. They had like a minute left. They still needed to go down, score the touchdown, get the 2-point conversion. But, that penalty should have been called. Aaron Jones, 19 carries for 58 yards, doesn't do much on the ground, but catches 2 balls for 37 yards, had a 25-yard catch, just 2 targets. So not a great day. But he comes close to 100 total yards and gets the 2 catches. So not terrible. You'll take it. Nothing spectacular. Justin Jefferson, 9 targets, 8 catches for $115. Makes another amazing catch, bobbling the ball, keeps his feet in. He continues to just like have hands like glue. Just like you throw it up to him, and he just seems to find a way to come down with it somehow, some way. Jordan Addison starting to get a little frustrating now. Not really producing early in the season. He was getting it going. 2 catches, 22 yards. I mean, he's starting to really kill you. Just 3 targets. I don't have him in a ton of spots, but I did use him in one spot tonight, and I'm in 40 leagues. But I'm pissed. I hate taking these low scoring performances. Johnny Munt, 1 catch, 10 yards. Josh Oliver catches the touchdown, 2 for 30. So these tight ends are not usable. Jalen Naylor is no longer usable. When Addison was hurt, he was doing a pretty decent job. But you're going to get Hockenson back soon. I think that will help this offense. Rams defense played decent tonight. They had some big stops. This was a huge win for the Rams. They really looked really good. I mean, again, this was a playoff team last year. They're now 3-1 at home, so they play very well there. They're 3-4. They're in the thick of things again. Huge win, huge win. Now, the Vikings have lost 2 straight, but you certainly expect them to bounce back. But their defense, they didn't sack Stafford tonight, not once. And, they were coming in getting a lot of big plays. They did have interception tonight, but, this was a down game for their defense. Stephon Gilmore, he looked lost on one play. That I think it was that cup catch. He just looks a little bit older. So I don't know. Van Ginkel, 2 tackles for a loss. So that's good. He had 7 total tackles. So if you're using him in IDP, not a bad day for him. But, maybe this Vikings defense is starting to get figured out a little bit. Flores is very, very blitz happy, blitzing over 40% of the time. So maybe he needs to make a couple adjustments now after the past 2 performances with the Lions. They did have a defensive touchdown last week, but the Lions still put up a bunch of points on them. And now the Rams put up a bunch of points on them. And, their secondary hasn't been great. It's been more like their run D and just creating big plays, getting a lot of sacks. But so we'll see what happens. The sways of the NFL season, teams start hot, then they struggle. Then we'll see if they can pick up the pace again. But the Rams now, after beating the Raiders 20-15 last week, that game should have been 20-12. Antonio Pierce kicking a field goal, like 2 minutes left. They should have covered that game too. We did have the Rams last week, so thank you for Antonio Pierce for preventing that cover. But again, the Rams get the job done 30-20. Okay, let's get into the picks now. But first, I guess we'll see if we have any more comments here. Michael Lopez says, Puka. Yeah, Puka came to play tonight, man. If that's a short snap count, I'll take that the rest of the season. Yeah, they're talking about some sort of snap count. I mean, at this point, you can never know. You just never could trust what the hell. The thing is, like, with Amari Cooper last week, what did he have? Like 12 snaps, 15 snaps, but he still found a way to be productive, still found a way to get a touchdown. That kind of made me feel good about Puka tonight. I think I had him ranked as wide receiver 27. I could have moved him a little bit higher as well. But it just, like, you knew he was going to get involved. You knew they were going to have to pass a lot. The Vikings defense was letting a lot of points up to fantasy wide receivers. The Rams needed this win. They needed to utilize Puka. You thought it'd be more Kupp. I mean, Kupp was supposedly going to be the healthier guy coming into this game, but Puka looked absolutely fine. I mean, he's diving all over the place. He's blocking guys. So yeah, all signs are a go for Puka Nacua the rest of the year. And I like Puka more than Kupp coming into the year. And I still like Puka the rest of the way more than Cooper Kupp as well. Anna Martinez, welcome. Anna says, I saw your kicker video. That was, yes, our boy Hoff releasing the stardom sit 'em kickers. Pete does the defenses. Mike's now got the kickers, so we got you covered there. Pete's been doing a great job with the defenses. And Mike, I think he just started last week. He will certainly do a good job covering those kickers as well. And then obviously we got another Stardom Situm show tomorrow on the Face Off Sports Network. This is also broadcasted on my channel, the YouTube at Fantasy Savvy. So if you guys want to follow me there, I do a lot of off-season drafts, high stakes drafts. I do a lot of college basketball, NBA stuff as well. Anna Martinez says, don't know if I should do McLaughlin or Dicker. I like Dicker. McLaughlin, he's been great, but without Godwin and Evans, they may not be able to be in a position to kick as many field goals this week. So I like Dicker. The Chargers just can't really seem to get into the end zone, and they move the ball. Herbert's moving the ball down the field. We'll see if they get Quentin Johnson back this week, but Dicker's very solid. He's such a solid. So let's go with Dicker, the kicker. Anna there. I appreciate you chiming in. So let's get into the first pick of the week, and we're going to go to Cincinnati. And we are going to take the Bengals -2.5 at home to take care of business against the Philadelphia Eagles. Bengals 3-4. They bounced back. They're 1-4. They got 2 wins in a row now against the Giants, 17-7. Then they go to Cleveland, 21-14. 2 road games in a row. Their last home game, they lost to Baltimore, an absolute thriller, 41-38. Their kicker missed it. McPherson missed a big kick there, and they allowed Baltimore to get the win. Philly, they also played Cleveland. They won 2016. They dominated the Giants last week, 28-3. Prior to that, they lost to Tampa 33-16. A little bit banged up. They've got A.J. Brown back now, so they're healthier. We'll see if Dallas Goedert gets back out there this week. But I think that Lou Anarumo is going to have a little something here for Jalen Hurts and co. And I like Burrow, Chase, Higgins, Chase Brown, Zach Moss here, Yoshi Avas, a little Eric All, Mike Gesicki against this Philadelphia defense. Now, Fangio's defense is starting to play better. Did a great job on the Giants last week. They played Cleveland, big whoop. Did let up 33 to Tampa, a couple weeks ago. But I think Cincy gets the job done here at home. I really do. I think Burrow and company will take care of business at home. So let's go with Cincinnati -2.5 for pick 1. Pick 2, you guys are not going to like this pick, and you're probably not going to want to freaking take it because it's just ugly all the way around. And it's going to be the freaking Cleveland Browns. The Denver Nuggets are done 96-80. Wow. They are owned by the Oklahoma City Thunder. They just own them. I think they beat them 3 times last year. They're going to beat them again tonight. So that's going to be 4 straight. So anyway, back to football. We're going to go with the Browns +8.5. You're going to say, Steve, what the hell are you doing picking the Browns, bro? This team's absolute trash. They're 1-6. The Ravens look like the best team in football. They're 5-2. They've scored over 30 points in 4 straight games. 35-10 to the Bills, 41-38 to the Bengals, 30-23 to Washington, 41-31 to Tampa. We don't know if we're getting Dorian Thompson-Robinson or Jameis Winston. No more Amari Cooper. The Browns are just, their season is basically lost at this point. Why the hell are we taking the Browns? And, I just think it's too many points. It's 8.5. The Browns are home. They've had some success against the Ravens. They basically beat them once every single year, going back to 2021, 24-22, 2022. They won 13-3. And then even last year, they won 33-31. That was with Joe Flacco. Different story. No more Joe Flacco in town. But maybe we get Jameis Winston this week. Cedric Tillman played good. You still got Jerry Jeudy, Nick Chubb second week back, Njoku made a hell of a catch. Their defense can play. I think they could slow down this Baltimore offense. I don't think Zay Flowers is going to play this week. I know Bateman's playing well, but outside of him, it's just the tight ends really. So I think they could slow Baltimore's offense down a little bit, maybe create some pressure with Myles Garrett. Jim Schwartz could do some things. I just think it's too many points. I really do. Baltimore may just rest on their laurels a little bit here. We're going to play the trash 1-6. I know it's a division game, but I'm going to take the points here. It's going to be an ugly pick. 70% of the public is on, or over 70% of the public is on Baltimore. And that's kind of when you want to steer the other way. So, when it looks good for one team in the NFL, go the other way. I've learned that many, many times. It's just too easy to say, oh, Baltimore's going to win by freaking 15. They certainly could. They could certainly blow them out. But when I match up everything here, I just think it's too many points. I think maybe the Ravens should be like a 6-7 point favorite, not 8.5. And this spread may even go up by game time. We may see 9. We may see 9.5. So that is going to be pick number 2, Browns plus 8.5. All right, pick 3, we're going to go to Houston. And Anthony Richardson will play again this week. And these two teams did play week 1. It was a good game, 29-27. The Texans win in Indianapolis. Richardson had a big fantasy day. Hit a couple deep shots to Alec Pierce in that game. If you remember, he hit that one deep shot. Beat Derek Stingley, beat the safety as well. Alec Pierce had a huge game. Sounds like Josh Downs is going to be healthy enough to play in this game. Jonathan Taylor is going to be back. So Richardson's going to have all his tools at his disposal. Still no more Nico Collins for CJ Stroud, who will have Diggs. Tank Dell with the donut last week, that was just a shocker. I expect him to bounce back. Joe Mixon had a big week 1 against the Colts. I think he'll have another nice day. So, the Colts may cover this game. They're getting 5.5. I think I'm just going with the over here. The last few times these teams have played, 3 out of the last 4 have gone over that total of 45. We had a 32-31 in January 23. We had a 31-20 in September 17 of 23. And then last year, January 6th, 23-19. And September 8th, the first week 1, we had 29-27. So that is going to be pick 3 here. Colts, Indy over 45. Pick 4, another ugly pick. You're going to say, Steve, you picked the Browns already, bro. And now you're going to pick this game. You're going to pick this team with the Browns, bro. I mean, what are you doing? And we're going to take the Jaguars. Yes, the Jaguars plus 4. 2-5 Jaguars against Green Bay. 5-2. Jordan Love slinging the rock all over the place. He's got all these weapons. He's got the Wu-Tang clan of receivers, whether it's Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Ontavian Wicks, Tucker Kraft. He's got, Josh Jacobs catching touchdowns. Their defense is playing good football. Jacksonville, though, they got the 2 weeks in London. They got to go across the pond. That gives them an advantage when they play back-to-back weeks in London. They took care of New England. Last year, they played back-to-back weeks in London, and they beat up Buffalo. But I think it's kind of a refresher. Get away from home a little bit. Get out of, Florida. Get out of the mundane a little bit. Change it up in Europe. Now you come back home fresh after 2 weeks off. You sleep in your own bed. You're feeling good. You're getting 4 points at home. 4 points. Now, in my mind, I love Green Bay. I love Jordan Love. I love their coaching. I love their defense. If I just looked at this game and said, oh, Green Bay definitely going to smash Jacksonville, bang, click Green Bay. But again, I'm trying to match things up. Quarterback versus quarterback, personnel, offensive line, receivers, defense, coaching, the home field advantage. And I just think, again, it's too many points. I think Jacksonville's a live home dog this week. catching four. I think Lawrence is playing a little bit better. He's getting his confidence back. He's got really good weapons. You got Brian Thomas, you got Evan Ingram, Tank Bigsby's running the ball great. Even if ETN doesn't play, if he plays, that's another bonus. Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, I'm the biggest fan of, but he's another playmaker for them. Their defense is not the best. Green Bay can really tear them up, but I just think it's too many points at home. So I'm going to take Jacksonville here. They're 2-5. This is like their season. They need to get another win here. Doug Peterson's job is still on the line. He's got to get this win. This game could get ugly. Green Bay could roll. Their defense could roll, but I'm going to take Jacksonville +4 here for pick 4. And we got a couple more people in the chat. Michael Lopez says, Winston the gunslinger. Yeah, man. Winston, I didn't think he was going to be a big upgrade over Watson. Because I just remember, again, I've mentioned this several times on the show, when I took the freaking I bet against the Browns in Survivor last year, and Watson was playing decent, and then he got hurt, and then Winston came in, or maybe Flacco got hurt. It was somebody, and Winston just came in. He looked horrible. I mean, he overthrew 3 plays in a row, but he could get it going at times. Maybe just needs a little more reps. I love his attitude. The guy's funny as hell. He's so positive about everything. Yeah, I mean, he's got weapons. Tillman's not bad. 3rd-round pick out of Tennessee, 6'3". He's got size. I think he can make some plays. Judy, very inconsistent. Elijah Moore, very inconsistent, but they can come to play every once in a while. Chubb back, second week. Njoku's a great player. Very good tight end in this league. Made a hell of a catch. Very good after the catch as well. And their defense with Jim Schwartz can make some plays. So that's why we're taking the Browns. Daniel Cap says, I really hate Thursday night football. I mean, I love any type of football, but I feel you, fantasy-wise, there's so many duds that you get sometimes. Now, there was some, good fantasy performances tonight, but a lot of the times there is duds, and it's just it's with the short week, it kind of makes things ugly. So I feel you there. Jamie, our boy, says, what up, dude? What's up, Jamie? Thanks for joining us tonight. You guys want to comment about anything regarding fantasy football, NFL picks, even little college football, NBA, as the Nuggets are absolutely owned by the Thunder. Once again, that was a bad pick on my part. Only bad pick with my NBA picks. The rest of the way, though, I went 3 and 4 Derek Lively props. I took 4 of them. I had 3 out of 4 of them. I also had the Kings over. That looks like it's going over. And also had the Celtics. They beat the Wizards by 20. They absolutely just demolished the Wizards anytime they play them. Celtics just, man, Jaylen Brown, the way he took his game to another level, very impressive. But back to the NFL picks. We are on pick 5 now. And speaking of blowouts, we got a blowout here. We got a domination here. Enough taking these underdogs. Let's go with a favorite. And let me just sip my tea here. I got the honey in here, the Manuka honey. If you guys know about the Manuka honey, it's the best honey you can get. It's expensive, but tastes good, and it's worth it. You got a sore throat or something, throw that Manuka honey in there. But let's go with the big favorite here.
To the players, reality is 1 against 1. Move
in the Detroit Lions, minus 11.5 against Tennessee. It's probably going to be Mason Rudolph. It might be Will Levis, Willie Fubu's, as I like to call him. Most likely Mason Rudolph. No more DeAndre Hopkins. He's now a Kansas City Chief. Calvin Ridley may not even play. Westbrook Akine, Tyler Boyd. Jamie, do you know about this other guy, Jaquan Johnson? I haven't even heard of the dude. You probably know who he is, being a big dynasty guy. Maybe they can get Chig Okonkwo more involved. Tony Pollard will probably be a big focal point. Their defense, not bad. But again, they haven't played anybody really, Tennessee. They played Buffalo. Buffalo tore them apart. They played the Colts. Anthony Richardson. Was it Anthony Richardson? Was it Flacco? I think it was Richardson. They played against Tyler Huntley, Malik Willis, Aaron Rodgers' his second game. And they let up 24 points. And then Caleb Williams, his first game of the year. So, their defense is good. I just think it may be a little, overstated by some of the matchups they had. So I think Detroit will take care of business here. No JMO, that could hurt their offense a little bit. Another suspension for him. I don't know what the hell is going on. Another performance enhancing. I don't know what he's taking. He's a skinny dude, so I don't know if it's like, some people speculate it was Viagra. I don't know. But this guy just either he's suspended or he's hurt. I mean, and look, it was looking all clear this year. Everything was rolling, and then he gets another suspension. So, but you got Tim Patrick who could step up. You got St. Brown. You got Laporta. You got the two running backs. We all know it. Goff is just protected behind that great wall of China. He sits back there and picks you apart. The defense can stop the run. Their secondary isn't the best, but you're going to go against Mason Rudolph, with no Ridley, possibly. Hopkins, we know, is not playing. This terrible receiver says so. I think this is an absolute blowout for Detroit. Dan Campbell's not going to be playing around. And I think Tennessee's going to 1-6. Callahan, I don't know how long he's going to last there. So let's go with Detroit with the blowout here, minus 11.5 for pick 5. Pick 6. And I'm surprised this spread isn't a little bit larger, which makes me a little bit worried because sometimes, it kind of looks a little too good to be true. But let's go with the Atlanta Falcons -2. And Jamie, I see your comment there. Third, there's a receiver, Jaquan Johnson. I don't know. Look it up. Or maybe you could pull it up. Freaking who's going to start for the Titans if Ridley doesn't play? It's going to be Westbrook, Akine, Tyler Boyd, and then some other guy, Johnson. I think I never heard of him. So, look him up. Give some thoughts on him. I'll take a look at him, before the week starts. See if he's, if he could do anything. Might be maybe a good deep pickup, maybe, or a DFS play for certain. We'll see. Jamie also says, I'm just writing my wide receiver versus cornerback Arnold started late tonight. Man, send that over to me. Drop the link in the chat here. We'd love to, if you finish, if you get finished before we're done, which you probably won't. If not, put it in the comments. I would love to check that out, man. Really, really would like to read that. I didn't even know you did that. That's awesome. Robert Thomas says, evening gang. What's up, buddy? Appreciate it. And we will recap our picks, man, as we, end the show. So if you missed anything, but we got Atlanta -2 here, going to Tampa. Tampa, we all know they were devastated by injury, and look at the freaking Oklahoma City Thunder. What a team, man. What a girl, what a pro wants, what a pro needs. They own the Denver Nuggets, man. The Denver Nuggets cannot beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 4 straight. Shea Gilgeous and Chet Holmgren. Good for them. I like these young kids. But we got the Falcons here -2. The Bucks, no Evans, no Godwin. I like Jalen McMillan. I like Trey Palmer a little bit. I like Kate Otten. Bucky Irving may not play this week, but you got Sean Tucker, you got Rashad White. But I think Baker's just going to struggle without his two best receivers. I mean, can McMillan be a number 1? I don't know. I don't think so. The Tampa Bay defense has been just lost. I mean, they've been lost so many games. 36 to Atlanta a few weeks ago. Kirk Cousins went through for 500 yards. Even Bo Nix shredded them up. Spencer Rattler looked pretty competent against them, put up 27 points. And then last week, Lamar just absolutely goes nuts against them as well, putting up 41. So Todd Bowles' defense is lost right now. I don't know if his scheme is just getting stale. Some of these defensive players are getting a little bit too old. It's ugly in Tampa. And I think Kirk Cousins is going to come into town and dominate once again. I mean, is Todd Bowles going to be able to switch something up from a couple weeks ago against Kirk Cousins with this defense? I don't think so. Based on, what Rattler did to them, what Lamar just did to them, what Kirk has already done to them, what Bo Nix did to them. So I think Kirk Cousins, London, Mooney, Pitts, Bijan's going to go nuts. Even Algier should have a decent day. So get all your Falcons in the lineup. Tampa may be able to put up some points, keep up, and maybe get a back door here. Maybe McMillan and Palmer step, maybe Otten. I just don't see it. I just think Atlanta here is going to get the W. And again, the spread kind of scares me a little bit. Just 2 points. I figured maybe be 3.5. So I just, I got to take the Falcons based off what I'm fading that Bucks defense. So that's going to lead me into also taking the over in this game, 45.5. So if we don't get the Falcons, we're going to get the over, because if the Falcons don't cover this game, means the Bucks offense is probably going to put up some points. I don't think the Bucks defense is going to slow down the Falcons. So we'll get one of these, and you could tease them. You could put the Falcons in the over in a tease, which I kind of like, actually. I may do that. I probably will do that. So when we like these, spreads with the overs in the same game, we like to tease them. A lot of the times, a 2-team teaser is easier to hit than a 3-team. The less, the better. They call it a teaser for a reason. So you just, try to keep it as confined as possible into one game. So that's what we like. It all correlates. Falcons -2, Falcons Bucks over 45.5 for pick 6 and pick 7. All right, now we're in the 4:00 slot. And I think this game could get a little ugly. Between New Orleans and the Chargers. Chargers a little bit banged up in their secondary. We'll see how healthy they get back this week. But, tough loss for them, kicking 97,000 field goals with Dicker, the kicker, in Arizona, losing 17-15. But I think they bounced back this week. 2 road games in a row. Again, remember how tough they played the Chiefs at home. Without Bosa, without 2 of their offensive linemen. Herbert was coming off a high ankle sprain, and they almost beat the Chiefs. They lost 17-10. So I think they bounced back here against Spencer Rattler with no Shaheed. Kamara, he was bitching and complaining he wanted to get traded. Then they give him a contract, so he'll be there. Dennis Allen, I think he's going to be gone after this year. I think the Saints are reeling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight L's. 15-12 to Philly loss, 26-24 to Atlanta, 26-13 to Kansas City, 51-27 to Tampa, and 33-10 to Denver. And I see another loss here, 2-6 for the Saints, the Aints. I think just more misery for Dennis Allen. Looks like he's lost on the sidelines versus Harbaugh. No way. I love the Chargers. Give me -7. Herbert was throwing the ball great last week. Ladd McConkey's going to come on. Palmer's back. Look at Will Dissly. I always kind of like Will Dissly. Sneaky pickup. Maybe he could be a thing the rest of the way. I mean, Hayden Hurst, he was out last week, but he hasn't been, we love Hayden Hurst on the Faithful Sports Network. As we have the Hayden Hurst Foundation, the mental podathon as well. But, for fantasy purposes, he hasn't put up the best numbers in a long time, and he's played in multiple different spots. And Will Dissly's the kind of guy I always kind of liked. Just kind of, I think he had like 2 ACL injuries or 2 major injuries, and really hasn't done much. He was kind of an afterthought in Seattle the past couple of years, but he looked really good last week. So he could be a kind of a guy that Herbert leans on. Dobbins could have a nice game here, and I think their defense will make plays on Rattler, slow him down. So we're going to go Chargers in the 4:00 slot for pick 8. Back to the comments. Robert Thomas says, who's your sneaky under for the week? I don't have any unders this week. I'll try to get one for you. I was kind of thinking maybe the Monday night game between Pittsburgh and the Giants, because I think the Giants defense can kind of slow down Russ, and that total is low, 36.5. And I think that, I hate taking unders, but that's not a terrible one. I think, Daniel Jones is going to have a rough time going against TJ Watt and Highsmith and that Pittsburgh defense. Joey Porter Jr. on Neighbors give him some issues. I don't know how many points the Giants are going to score. They have not been able to score the past couple weeks. What do they have, like 13 points the past 2 weeks or some shit like that? So how many points are they going to put up this week? Maybe 10? And then, I don't see a ton of points from the Steelers, maybe 20, maybe 23. So that's a game that could go under, but it's such a low number. You get a kickoff return, you get a defensive touchdown. It could just, maybe Russ and Pickens connect a couple of times. Najee's starting to get it going a little bit, but I guess that's a little bit sneaky. I'll try to maybe identify one more time, one more before the show ends. And then Jamie says he's doing his wide receiver cornerback article at Fantasy Six Pack. So guys, go check that out. Jamie knows his shit. Jamie says regarding the third wide receiver for the Titans, that Johnson guy only played 1.7% of the snaps, week 6 with 0 targets, 6th round rookie split end, but isn't Burks a split end too? Burks has been playing around 50% of the snaps with 8 targets this year. Isn't Burks hurt? I think Burks is on the IR. Isn't he out? I think he's out. So I don't think Burks is playing. That's why I think this guy Johnson, if Ridley's back, they're just going to have to throw him in there. I mean, you have no Ridley, you have no Hopkins, it could be Westbrook, Akine, Tyler Boyd, and again, this guy Johnson. So I'd have to take a look at him. 6th round pick. You never know. Maybe he's got something. Maybe he could shine. I mean, you never say never. Look at the Victor Cruz. I mean, there's been a bunch of guys that come out of nowhere. Tron Force says, who are you playing at flex? PPR, our boy Tron Force. Back again. McLaurin with Mariota at QB versus Bears defense. Mooney, D-Hop, JSN. I don't like McLaurin this week if Mariota's playing. Against the Bears, forget about it. I cannot start Terry McLaurin. And I know Terry's had terrible quarterback situations and he went for 4 straight 1,000 yards with all those bum-ass quarterbacks. But the Bears corners with Stevenson and Johnson, forget about it. Against Mariota, no way. I don't like McLaurin at all, so I'm sitting him. D-Hop may catch a touchdown. He's going to get involved, probably limited snaps. JSN, I'm not thrilled with his matchup either this week. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go Mooney against the Bucks. I think that's the play. Again, 500 yards for Captain Kirk. Wasn't that the game that Mooney went off to? Went ape shit. So yeah, I think that we go back to the well here with Captain Kirk, with the Starship Enterprise entering different galaxies here against this Todd Bowles completely lost Bucks defense. Let's go Mooney there, man. Tron Force. I think we're going to do the Captain Kirk move here and Darnell Mooney. JSN would probably be my other one that I would say, but the Bills defense, Bills secondary is tough, very solid. They can make plays. I think they'll kind of hone in JSN a little bit. So I'm going Darnell Mooney there. Thanks for the question, man. Jamie says McLaurin is in my article, in detail why I'm sitting him. Yeah, I own McLaurin in a decent amount of leagues, and he's going to be on pretty much all my benches this week. If Jaden Daniels plays, that will change a little bit. I'm still not thrilled with it. Even Jaden Daniels, against the Bears kind of scares me a little bit as well. Depending on what I got at quarterback, I may pivot to somebody else if he does start. But I would go pick up Bo Nix. I'd rather have Bo Nix against the Panthers than Daniels, even if he plays against the Bears. I would start Bo Nix. The Panthers defense, man, they are horrible. They are so bad. They generate no pass rush. Nix is going to have freaking all day long to sit back and pass. He's going to be in my top 10 quarterbacks this week. I think I got him, definitely top 10. We'll see where he lands up. Benford will be on Lockett. So I think JSN could be usable in a flex spot. What about Teron Johnson? Did he get banged up again last game? Is he going to play this game, Jamie? Do you know? But either way, McDermott is really good. But you're right. JSN in the slot could eat a little bit, but I still got to go with Mooney against the Bucks. All right, back to the picks. We were going to get into the Bills, and we do like the Bills here, -3 against Seattle. Now, going all the way to Seattle. I don't think the Bills with Josh Allen have ever made that trip out all the way to the West Coast. So all the way from the Northeast to all the way to the Northwest. And no, I don't think Josh Allen. Let me see. Was he around here? No. This the last time they played in Seattle, Josh Allen wasn't even in the NFL. What was Josh Allen's rookie year? 2000 what? 18. So Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback back then, and the Bills lost 31-25. Seattle had Russ. And Jimmy Graham had 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. Doug Baldwin, remember him? He was so good. Jermaine Curse, CJ Procise, 3 carries for 9 yards, bringing it back. LaShawn McCoy was on the Bills, 21 carries for 85 yards. Robert Woods, 10 catches for 162 yards. Marquise Goodwin, 4 for 43. Wow, Robert Woods had a day. But anyway, that was the last time Buffalo went to Seattle. So it was Josh Allen and co. have never made the trip. They did play in 2020 in Buffalo, and Josh Allen went off. 31 of 38, 415 yards, 3 touchdowns. Diggs had 118 yards. John Brown had 8 catches for 99 yards. Gabe Davis, 4 for 70. Beasley, 3 for 39. Zach Moss was on the Bills then. 9 carries for 18 yards and a touchdown. Allen ran for 14 yards and a touchdown. Singletary had just 2 carries for 1 yard in that game. That might have been what Singletary's first or second year. So, no significant history here. Russ again was the quarterback for Seattle. Obviously different coaching staffs, but the reason we like the Bills here is just this Seattle defense under Mike McDonald. Their run D looks porous. And you remember back to last year when he was in Baltimore, they could not stop the run. They have not been able to stop the run. And the Bills want to run the football. And when they're running the football, it's kind of really when they really, really get things going on offense. And what really was exciting about the Bills last week, and I pretty much watched that whole game. There was one drive against the Titans, and they were up in this game. They didn't really have to pass, but they just decided, let's just pass every play. And they passed pretty much all the way down the field. Shakir caught like 4 or 5 passes. Cooper caught a couple passes. I think Kincaid caught a pass, and they just went right down the field and scored a touchdown like it was nothing. So with Cooper now, Kincaid starting to get a little bit of flow. I know he's a little bit banged up with a collarbone injury, but should play. Shakir back healthy. Keon Coleman, man, he's starting to get it going now, especially after the catch. Like they're starting to find the right way to use him, like quick throws, let him make a move, break a tackle, and break off into the open field. Now, Seattle's got 2 physical, strong corners that could probably match up with Keon here. But I know Tariq Woolen didn't play last week, or maybe he was banged up last week. Witherspoon's good, but I don't think these guys have been playing great anyway. So there's a lot of different weapons for Buffalo to utilize. Ray Davis is looking good. Their defense, I think, will make some plays. I don't think we're seeing DK Metcalf. He's not practicing. So this is a great bet to get in now before DK is officially ruled out and the spread jumps a little bit. I know they got to go all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast. It's a long trip for them, but I think Josh Allen and company keep it rolling here in Seattle. That's going to be a fun trip for them. And they take care of business against the Seattle Seahawks, new coaching staff versus an experienced, savvy coaching staff with Greg McDermott. And I think the Bills are a really, really good bet. One of my favorite bets of the week. So Bills -3. All right. Before we finish up with our last 2 picks, let's get into the last couple comments here. Jamie says Mooney been a top 20 play this year. Yeah, he's been a little inconsistent, but had some big games. Mooney's a really good receiver. Again, 1,000 yards with Justin Fields, 5 years ago. Then he was kind of a little bit banged up. Then DJ Moore comes into town. But he did have a 1,000-yard season with Justin Fields. Abreu 68 joins us tonight. He's got a baseball player in his profile picture. Who you got in there, man? Is that Jose Abreu? Is that Bobby Abreu? Chargers or Chicago D this week and the rest of the year? Good question, man. Do like the Bears D probably the rest of the year. That would be my go-to. This Bears D is very solid. Again, their secondary is solid. They have a good pass rush. They're a very, very solid defense. And you're going to go against Marcus Mariota. I think that's a pretty, pretty solid play. I do like the Chargers this week as a defense also against the Rattler snake. That's also a good play. But I think if Mariota's playing, I prefer the Bears defense a little bit more versus the Chargers. But it is close. But rest of the year, I would go Bears defense. I just think they're a better defense overall. The Chargers defense is a good defense, though. They are solid, and they are a little bit banged up, and they're still playing well, especially their secondary. So, but yeah, I like Bears this week and for the rest of the year. I appreciate that question. Big Mo in his last game at Yanks Stadium. Nice, man. Is that Mariano? I can't see it. That's awesome, man. That's Mariano, right? That's awesome, man. Go Yanks. Unless you're talking about Mo Vaughn, but I think that guy's on the pitcher's mound. It looks like Mariano, the best closer in the history of Major League Baseball. Did you guys see the video of Austin Hedges with Emmanuel Clase saying that Emmanuel Clase was better than Mariano, and he was the best pitcher ever, the best closer ever? And then the Yankees go out and absolutely dominate him. That was great, man. Let's go, man. I love it. I love it, Abreu68. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, man. I appreciate it. Hope to have you back. Let's go Yankees tomorrow night. By the way, it's Juan Soto's birthday tomorrow night. And, as you know, and I kind of felt like a lot of good things happen to players on their birthday. You ever play a sport and it's your birthday and you kind of have a big day? I just think special things happen. So look out for those Juan Soto props tomorrow in game 1 against the Dodgers in LA. All right, last 2 picks, guys, and then we'll wrap this baby up. We are going to go to San Francisco. And, man, I hate taking the Cowboys. I mean, I took them against the Lions. It's probably my worst pick of the year. 47-9, they lost. I was doing the numbers. I kind of I like to match up the coaches and the quarterbacks and the offensive lines, the defenses, the receivers. I don't know. The Cowboys were getting 3.5. I took the Cowboys at home, and they got absolutely demolished. And we got CeeDee Lamb on the thumbnail. Now, Anthony made the thumbnail. He put CeeDee Lamb on there. So I feel like I got to take the Cowboys here, even though I don't want to. But, the more I think about it, Deebo Samuel's probably going to play this game. I don't think Jawan Jennings is going to make it back. So you have Deebo, you have Kittle, you have Mason. But I just feel like this is kind of the spot where the Cowboys got to get a win. They're 3-3. They're catching 4.5. I mean, not a win, but at least cover. Can at least keep it close. They got blown out 42-10 last year in October. So around this time last year, got blown out. January 22 in the playoffs, lose 19-12. Playoffs the season before that, 23-17. So they've lost the last 3 matchups. The Cowboys won 5 of the last 6 before that, from 2008 till 2020. But since 2022, the Niners have owned this matchup. And I think Dak has got to do something here. He's got to step up. I don't know if Micah Parsons is going to play. I don't know if Bland's going to play. Both didn't practice today. So we'll see if Parsons and Bland can make their way back. That will be absolutely huge. But I'm going to take them even without it. I just match up it all again. And, my gut says do not take the Cowboys. But I think they could at least cover here. I think CeeDee Lamb and Dak could have a big day. Ferguson, get back to using Dowdle in the run game. He's your best running back. Stop mixing all these different guys. Maybe you can get Tolbert going. And their defense is going to have to make some plays on Purdy. So let's go Dallas. Sunday Night Football. I don't feel great about it. But let's get a little action for the Sunday night game. We got CeeDee Lamb in the thumbnail. Make Anthony feel a little bit better as well. Let's go Dallas plus 44.5 to cover. Now, Hoff's the big Niners fan. It's going to be a big rivalry. Check that show out tomorrow. These guys will certainly be talking about it, and on Sunday morning as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. All right, last pick of the night. And we're going to go to Monday Night Football. So we got you covered. And then we'll jump back into the comments before we end the show and recap all our picks. And this one, Justin Fields. And this guy he's like the most mistreated quarterback in the league. Gets thrown out of Chicago. And I know Caleb Williams has played great the last 2 weeks against the Panthers and against the Jaguars. And he's certainly playing well. But he gets thrown out of Chicago. And then they bring in Keenan Allen. They drafted Dunze. They bring in DeAndre Swift. They throw Fields. He becomes a backup in Pittsburgh. He goes 4-2 as a starter. He doesn't have a freaking turnover. I think he has 10 total touchdowns to 0 interceptions, maybe a fumble or 2. And, he had some other fumbles, but, mostly a lot of those fumbles were from the center, snapping the ball errantly before Fields even was ready. Another one was when that center got ran over by Mossy against the Cowboys and just ran over Fields and knocked the ball out. But, he was playing good enough to keep the job. But Russell Wilson comes in last week. He looks good. He looked pretty, the first couple of balls were like dirt balls. But he's got that beautiful arc deep ball that really matches up with George Pickens. Now, George Pickens made 2 hell of a catches. And then Freiermuth made a one-handed catch. So these guys came to play for Wilson for sure on Sunday night, big time. And Najee, even the week before when Fields was starting, he got it going with that big run. Had another good game. Jaylen Warren is pretty much fully healthy now. They also got Hightower back last week, which helped. So they're getting healthy. They look good. Could this turn back to Fields at some point? It's possible, but Russ has got the job right now. We'll see if a second receiver could kind of step up. I thought it would be Roman Wilson, but they really haven't given him a shot. I think he was hurt all of training camp. Then he was finally activated 2 weeks ago. He played 4 or 5 snaps. I think he might be banged up again. I don't know what's going on. But Van Jefferson, even though he caught a touchdown, Calvin Austin, not really it. But Russ has got this job right now. We'll see how it all plays out in the next couple of weeks. It's possible they still could go back to Fields at some point. Maybe Russ starts to struggle, maybe not. But George Pickens, he certainly looks solid. Now, Pickens was going to be solid with or without Russell Wilson. I think that was going to be true. Now, he dropped 2 or 3 touchdowns with Fields. You remember, he had a couple of huge plays called back because of penalties. Even when they played the Broncos, he was causing multiple pass interferences against Surtain. So Pickens was dominating regardless. He was going to go off. He just found a little bit bad luck. Finally catches a touchdown this week with Russ. But Pickens is going to be solid with Russ. Even better, I think, with Fields because that arc on that deep ball really just allows Pickens with his size and his catch radius to come down with it. And he's special when it comes to that. So Pickens feels solid. And I look at this game, the spread is -6 for the Steelers. I get really worried with Daniel Jones against this pass rush against the Steelers. TJ Watt may just feast on Monday night. Again, this could be a low-scoring game, 36.5. So maybe this is a sneaky low total. Maybe we see a 20-10 game, 23-10 game, 19-13, 19-10, something like that. I don't think the Steelers are going to put up a bunch of points. This Giants defense is not terrible. They shut down Burrow and co. last week, did a decent job on Philly. Saquon went off on them in a total revenge game. Saquon just looked so determined to beat his former team. And they were opening up holes for him, but they shut down Devonta Smith. A.J. Brown had a nice day. But anyway, this Giants defense is not bad. And they got a good pass rush themselves. So they could cause Russ some problems here. This might be a game might be better suited to use Fields because the Giants pass rush may cause havoc against Russ Wilson in this game. So I feel like this is not a bad under. So what we could do here is tease it, push Pittsburgh down to 0, get that total of 43.5, take Steelers and the under tease. But we're going to take Steelers -6. I just think their defense will dominate. Boswell maybe kicks, 7 field goals in this game, and they get 21 points. But the Giants, I don't think the Giants are going to score more than 14. I really don't. I think that's the max for them in this game. Even with Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson, I just don't see it. I think Daniel Jones is going to struggle in this game, and the Giants are going to go to 2-6. It's going to be ugly in New York. I think it was ugly last week when you saw Saquon Barkley go off against them, and we all watched Hard Knocks and Joe Shine, and Mara comes to the office, says, "I'll be sick if Saquon goes to Philly," and he had that feeling in him. He also, you could feel like Mara wanted to get another quarterback. He wanted to draft a quarterback. And Shine was basically saying, if we can't trade up for a quarterback, then we're just going to try to, help him as much as possible. And they get Neighbors, but it did not work out. They kind of needed to draft a quarterback this year. But certainly the Giants will draft a quarterback next year if this continues the way with Daniel Jones, and is not looking good right now. He's just way too inconsistent. So let's take the Steelers -6 for our last pick. And to recap all our picks for tonight, guys, let's have a winning week. Okay. Bengals -2.5. Browns +8.5. Texans Colts over 45. Jags +4. Lions -11.5. Falcons -2. Falcons Bucks over 45.5. Again, you could tease those two together. Charge in the 4:00 slot. Chargers -7. Bills -3. And then Sunday Night Football, Dallas -4.5. Steelers -6. Your week 11. Week 11 picks. 11 picks for week 8. The Magnificent 11. All right, back to your comments, and then we'll wrap this baby up. Abreu says 2 homers tomorrow for Juan Soto on his birthday. I love it. Jamie says Pickens is in my article as a must start this week versus matchup. Do you like Banks? I kind of like Banks a little bit, but I agree. Pickens can win that matchup. But he did do a good job on DK a few weeks ago. Jamie also said, I did an episode last night with the RPN network. It already has 1.2 thousand views, 1.2K views. It's getting late, boys. Good job, Jamie, man. We love you. We love you joining us and all your tidbits. Very, very knowledgeable. Drop your Twitter in there, man, so people can follow you and check you out. But thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. We recapped the Thursday night game. We gave you the 11 picks. Let's get some winners. We'll come back next Thursday night. We'll recap it all. Hopefully we can push over 500. Hopefully we can have a really good week. Again, like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Follow me on X at Fantasy Savvy. More Stardom Sit-em tomorrow. Sunday, we'll have a last-second Stardom Sit-em. We'll see if we do a Saturday DFS show. The wife wants to go pumpkin picking. I haven't done it. And I think I got some family over. Maybe Hoff will hold it down for the DFS. We did a couple shows, and we did really good job. I mean, we did a really good job with the DFS. So, we want to bring you guys that. But, and Jamie says, Mr. Athletic Profile at Jamie Pirog on Twitter. Oh, we got one more question here from Franco. Says, yo, bro, start, sit. Marvin Harrison, Tank Dell. Man, I don't mind. And he may catch Ramsey, Marvin Harris. I don't know if Marvin Harris, remember watching his tape, and I watched all his, a lot of his snaps last year in college. And I was just like, is his game fully translate to the NFL? He's a very savvy route runner. But we also saw that from Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy was a good route runner. He's not really totally explosive. He's big. He's 6'3". He can come down with some jump balls, and he's been open. Murray hasn't played well. I just don't know if he was the top receiver prospect in this draft. Like I much prefer Brian Thomas. I think, and I even said that, before the year started. And I didn't really draft a lot of Marvin Harrison because he was going end of the first round. I just felt like it was too high, and I didn't think he was going to finish as a top 12 receiver this year with all these receivers in front of him. But I'm going to go Tank Dell. I know he had the donut last week. I don't like the Ramsey against Harrison. I don't like the way Murray's playing. The Dolphins need a W. They're getting Tua back this week. Let's go with Tank Dell in a bounce back game. Again, we like the shootout here over 45.5 against the Colts. Let's go Tank Dell, buddy. Appreciate you coming in. Jamie says Marvin was my article dropping dropping tomorrow. Remember watching him week 1. Like he looked like he was dogging it, looked like he was uninterested. And he showed some of that last week too, just kind of like taking plays off. Like he looked like he was frustrated out there. Marvin struggling and has a tough matchup. Franco says, I got Marvin and BTJ as well as CD. Yeah, man, let's go CD. Let's go Tank Dell over Marv. Thanks for the question. Thank you, Franco. That will end it for tonight, guys. Again, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button. Also follow my YouTube page at Fantasy Savvy. If you're watching on that, like, subscribe, share as well. But we'll see you guys soon. Take care. This was a lot of fun. We'll be back next Thursday night for more NFL picks. Have a great weekend. God bless.